Tonight, on our continuing series called Know Your Rights, we're tackling the Fourth Amendment, a cornerstone of privacy and freedom that shapes every encounter between citizens and government. From colonial protests against arbitrary British searches to modern debates over digital surveillance, the Fourth Amendment remains at the center of America's ongoing struggle to define what it means to be secure in our homes, our papers, and our lives. Join us for episode 52 of Beyond the Noise, where we cover the Fourth Amendment.
Welcome to the sound we're breaking through. The stories unfold, shining bright and true. Diving deep in thoughts, we'll take you higher. This is the movement, feel the burning fire. Let the voices rise in the echoing space. Join the celebration of every human face. Beyond the noise, we make our way. We make our way. Stories of courage, lighting up the way. This is our time. We're ready to play. On the Soar Network, we'll seize the day. From opinions that matter, we'll lift each frame. Reflect on the journey, yet we'll never be the same. In the heart of the noise, where the wisdom resides. Join us in the moment, where the spirit abides. We soar above it all, breaking every chain. Ignite the passion, let your heart sustain. Beyond the noise, we make our way. We make our way. Stories of courage, lighting up the way. This is our time. We're ready to play. On the Soar Network, we'll seize the day. Get ready, world. We're turning up the heat. Together we rise. Can't accept defeat.
Welcome to Beyond the Noise, episode 52. I am Republic Sentinel, a.k.a. RS, and I am joined, of course, by my magnificent co-host, Yankee Free. How's it going, Yankee?
Good evening, sir, and good evening, chat. Good to see you all. 12 wonderful patriots in the room already.
Fourth Amendment, big one. Big one. This one's going to be a lot juicier than the third.
Lots sexier.
Yeah. Big time sexy, because, I mean, there's so many different ways you could go with this. 2-hour podcast, nothing. Especially when you start talking about all the different ways that the Fourth Amendment, in my humble opinion, has been violated repeatedly by the government through different, what is that asset forfeiture shit that people like they get pulled over and arrested and they just take all their stuff. and then it turns out that they're not guilty, but they don't get their stuff back. And it's
Right.
oh, there's all kinds of different violations, stuff they did to Trump, stuff they've done to all these different people that have ended up in prison. And the Supreme Court seems to be unwilling to weigh in on a lot of them. You know what I mean?
So status quo. They do what they want.
Very.
Mm-hmm.
Very status quo. Hell, the last one we covered, the Third Amendment, they've never weighed in on the Third Amendment. Granted, it hasn't really been necessary, but that's odd to have a one of the first 10 amendments never to have gone before the Supreme Court.
Right.
You'd have figured at least during like the Civil War or something like that would have come up, but I guess not. So, shall we just get right to reading the amendment and then just delve into some of the goodies here?
Absolutely, we can do that.
Chat, how familiar are you with the Fourth Amendment? If you're not, here we go. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, house, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. So, Yankee, what does that mean to you?
To me, it means that you are. I did not do this. We're talking, and no one can see us or the poll that is on screen.
Let's go weighing in on the poll. 14 people. Let's go.
So it means to me, it means your right to privacy and your right to your property and your privacy. No one can take your possessions, and no one can invade your privacy and seize your possessions, or your person. I stuttered my way through that one, but yeah, it's I don't know. To me, it's one of the fundamental ones of freedom. Is the ultimate, freedom. Like, no, you can't see this. You can't read this. You can't look at this. You can't take this. It's mine.
Yeah. Yeah, that it comes to mind. Now, again, we've said this. I guess the Third Amendment being the outlier. The first two amendments were like extremely important, but this one is at least equally important to the other two. I understand that they precipitate to each other, right? They kind of lead into each other. The third one being kind of that outlier.
The outlier, yeah.
But the first, second, and fourth are like all very dependent.
Yeah, I don't think they are dependent, but I don't think the third is so much of an outlier because it's also your rights to your privacy and your property. You don't have to do any basic. It should, like, they all basically say you don't have to do anything because your right is to your birthright is to be free and do what you want to do, and the government cannot take these freedoms away from you. It's to protect. It's not giving you the rights because we all have these rights. These are the amendments saying what rights of yours the government cannot take away.
Agreed. And
I think the third fits right in there.
Picking two. Sorry about that. Yeah, the third one does kind of blend in. You're right, especially to the Fourth Amendment. It does kind of blend right in there. But it's still kind of a weird amendment. But this one is very, very pertinent to, and how many times do you see videos of people sitting there saying, do you have a warrant? No, you cannot come into my house. No, you cannot look at this. No, this goes to getting pulled over as well. Can they search your vehicle? Blah, blah, blah. It's all and
well,
and,
and
a
that's
lot
where
of
it
people
gets
don't know that.
and that's where it gets gray.
Yeah, it does.
And that's one thing about the fourth that I think is not so black and white. I think that the one line, the one part, probable cause.
Okay, yeah, but
What determines probable cause? I mean, anybody can think that there's anyone can have probable cause. Like, what has to be done to prove that? Like, you have to prove that probable cause. You just can't say, "Oh, there's probable cause because I think you might have this," and then be okay. But that seems to be a lot what they do a lot. I think you might have drugs in this car. Well, what makes you think that?
Well, that'll also firearms. I don't know how many times I've been asked, do you have a firearm in your vehicle?
You don't have to answer that.
You do not have to answer that. That's not what you were pulled over for. They do not have you, and it's been determined that your car is your private property. Where it starts getting weird is that you have to register your vehicle with the state or you can't drive the son of a bitch. You got to have a license in order to drive it. Again, I can't tell you, we've talked about this subject numerous times now, and it just seems to keep coming back up. This idea, like you have so eloquently said, they're selling you back your rights.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that there was a way that could get put past the Supreme Court and they'd be like, yeah, no, they're not. No government entity is allowed to sell you back your rights. You know,
that would be wonderful. I mean, but you kind of think that the Bill of Rights is pretty clear that
it really is.
Like, these are our rights and you can't take them away from us, but you do because you sell them back to us. So you're telling me I don't have the right if I don't pay you for it. Well, that is obscenely against the Constitution and what it tries to do, what the Bill of Rights does and protects you against.
Right.
You should, if you're free, you're free. I don't have to pay the government to do something.
Because those rights were afforded you by your creator or creation itself, whatever. So
right.
Upon birth, like you said, your birthright is these freedoms. And the government turned around and said, well, yeah, I mean, you have these freedoms, but you can't have them unless you buy them from us. These are things that really need to be, I wish they could get fleshed out. I'm not really sure if they have ever covered like registration or licenses before the Supreme Court. Might be something I'll do a quick search on here in a little bit. But there was something
like with the fourth is about seizing property or seizing your belongings, your property, your personal possessions, seizing them, without
searching them,
warrant,
even going through
searching them.
Yeah,
right. But what? See that, and that again, that's where it gets muddy and gray because what do you really own?
That's all right. Well, see that even now it's starting to branch out into the internet sphere, right? Saying that this is you own your persona, you own your account, you own all these things. What do you own? That is a great question.
Search and seizure of my home. Do I ever own my home?
If I'm not mistaken, let's do a couple of searches here.
The answer to that is no. You never own your home. You never own your home or your property. Because guess what? You don't pay your taxes to the government. The government will take your home and your property, and then it's no longer yours, so then they own everything that's in it and on it. So what does the fourth protect in that case?
Okay, let's do that. And okay, so the Supreme Court has weighed in on some of this. Let me search a couple of them while they're fresh in my head, and then we can talk about them. Okay, so vehicle being your private property. Yes, the U.S. Supreme Court has addressed whether vehicles are considered private property and how that affects the Fourth Amendment. The court recognizes vehicles as property, but due to their mobility and location, they sometimes receive different levels of protection compared to homes. Fourth Amendment in vehicles. The Supreme Court ruled that the vehicles parked within the curtilage, and in parentheses, the area immediately surrounding and associated with the home. Okay, are part of constitutionally protected private property, just like the house itself. This means police generally cannot enter your private property, even to search your vehicle, without a warrant or your consent. The, quote, automobile exception, end quote, does not override the need for a warrant when a vehicle is parked within the curtilage of a home. The automobile exception, when vehicles are on public roads, here we go. The Supreme Court allows more leeway for police searches without a warrant based on probable cause. We're going to have to get into probable cause tonight without question. Mm-hmm. This stems from the vehicle's mobility and the government's interest in regulating cars. Still, these searches must adhere to specific principles, and the core Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable searches and seizures remain in effect. These distinctions are based on prominent Supreme Court rulings in recent years, notably decisions that clarify the relationship between private property rights and law enforcement's ability to conduct warrantless searches involving vehicles. So that's vehicle property rights. So apparently, if you're on a public road, there's more leeway. But again, how many times have they said reasonable? And I've looked upon what they've deemed to be reasonable and seen it as completely and utterly unreasonable.
Right. Who's making that determination? Right. Who's making that probable cause determination? Who's saying what's reasonable and not? What's reasonable to me may not be reasonable to you. I think the fourth is extreme. With the probable cause, I think the fourth is extremely, I don't want to say weak, gray. Because even with the what is it, the warrant or oath or affirmation. Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to, and the fourth says they're supposed to tell you exactly what they want to search and what they want to search and or seize. They have to say, like, okay, you see these raids all the time, and they go in and clear everything out. So they make some very broad, general statement of what they're looking for, and so then that way it basically covers everything and they can take everything.
Well, here I have,
but it says right there it's supposed to be specific.
Well, this is the government's definition of reasonable cause. The government defines probable cause, as the standard under the Fourth Amendment that must generally be satisfied before police can make an arrest, conduct a search, or obtain a warrant. Probable cause exists when listen to this, the facts and circumstances within an officer's knowledge would lead a reasonable person to believe that a crime has been committed for an arrest, or that evidence of a crime is present in a specific location for a search. Man, I can't tell you how many times I could reasonably assume that there was a drug house that I was working by. You could smell the cat piss. It was definitely and people were constantly in and out. It was definitely a meth lab. And we were working right there, and everybody that I was working with was like, yeah, that's definitely a meth lab. People are coming in and out. You can smell the cat piss, yada, yada. That's the smell that you get from those chemicals.
The ammonia.
But they were never stopped. They kept doing it for the months and months that I was working there. So I don't. Where does this probable cause come from, and who determines probable cause?
Well, it just said right there,
reasonable
the
person.
officer. It just said an officer, and what's to their knowledge, and so it's what they want to deem reasonable. Because if they don't want to deal with, or if somebody's on the take with that meth lab is under wraps. We're not going to look over there. We don't have probable cause for that.
Exactly.
But they pull you over and think you might have. Well, I've been pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've told the stories. Maybe not on here, but I've told the stories where I was pulled over. I was on my way back from checking my trap line, and I was pulled over. And okay, I'm in Woods clothes. I got a big beard. I got Woods clothes on, and there's woodsy things in my truck, and I was asked, do I have a firearm in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what prompted you to ask me that? What's your reasonable cause? Because I was wearing camouflage?
Mm-hmm.
That's your probable cause to ask me that question?
Oh, I've been asked if I have a firearm, and I don't. I look like this driving to work.
I did answer the question.
I do too, every single time.
Yeah, and my answer to the officer's surprise was yes.
Yep, me too.
He's like,
Always.
you do,
Yep.
you do.
Yeah. Now, see, I don't know what the law is in your state, which is so bizarre.
I can't.
That we even.
I can't. Well, the only reason I could have a firearm is because I was transporting it to the woods to use it in hunting or trapping and go home. I wasn't going home, but I was. That's the only time you're allowed to have a firearm and it has to be unloaded in a case and secured, and it was. I transport them legally, but. Yeah, don't ask me actually, this happened twice. Don't ask me the question you don't want the answer to. Like, It was like, you do? I'm like, yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I do. And not to get too down the not to get too in the weeds, but the one story, if you haven't heard it, is really funny. When he stopped me and I said yes, it was actually the first time I had ever trapped and dispatched a skunk. And the skunk was in the bed of my truck. But everything, I don't know how close anybody's ever been to being sprayed by a skunk or in the vicinity of when a skunk sprays. It gets into everything, and everything reeks of it forever. And so my whole truck, if it was a cartoon, like green vapors would have been coming out of my windows of my truck. Like it reeked. So the officer asked where it was. I told him where it was. He goes, Can I look? I'm like, yeah, sure. So he opens my back door, and I know he couldn't fucking breathe because he could barely talk, and he couldn't find it.
Yeah.
He couldn't find it. He eventually goes, all right, I trust you. And he closes my door. And I'm like, yeah, he just can't breathe. But anyway. Did I have to let him search for it? No. But then does that also make me look nefarious or guilty of something? If I, what I mean? If I lie to him and say, or if I just say, no, you can't search my car. You can't look at it. Well, then guess what? He's going to find probable cause for something else to then make sure he can search my car.
So the federal government has never weighed in on this. This is what bothers me, because we have a very, very almost identical law in Illinois, and I totally follow the law. But the idea of having a firearm to protect yourself in your private property on public roads, but that doesn't stop assholes from killing you and your family. So I don't understand why it's reasonable that you have to have the gun in a case separated from the ammunition. That literally is counterintuitive to the purpose of the firearm. One of the many purposes of the firearm.
Absolutely. But they make the rules. They're unconstitutional to the umpteenth degree, but they make the rules, and that's the way it's always been, and nothing is done about it.
Yeah.
I think the government violates many of these rights on a daily freaking basis.
Yeah. I think that they do too. And I think that the Supreme Court has weighed in so many freaking times, and my state in particular has had a number of high-profile cases concerning firearms, especially out of the city of Chicago. And they always lose. The federal government always rules against the state of Illinois. Thank God. But I think these kinds of things, this goes right to property. They should not be able to, if I'm in my private space, they should not be able to, again, I guess you don't have to allow them to search. They can go get themselves a freaking warrant, and you ain't going to get yourself, most cops aren't going to get themselves a warrant because they think you've got a firearm in your center console and it's not properly stored or properly separated from the ammunition or whatever. But, I don't know. I think that this is absolute garbage. It violates the spirit of the second and to a degree the spirit of the fourth.
I concur.
It's
but
whatever.
again, they muddy them all.
Sure,
they
do.
muddy them all because, like I was saying before about your house. Do you own your house?
No, because property taxes, they can come and take it.
Right. And then it's theirs, and then they can take whatever they want in it because they take it from you. They take your home and your property from you. Evod, what about open carry states? Well, then there's no issue there. If it's an open carry state, well, then you can carry it. In our states, you can't.
Yeah. In our states, you just cannot do that. Now, there are plenty of states that are open carry. In my state is concealed carry, but you got to go and do, a 16-hour class on it, something like that, and get certified to have it.
It's become easier in New Jersey since the Dobbs ruling, but it's still ridiculous. I mean, they changed they keep, with the wind, they changed the requirements. I mean, I know people personally that have taken, it's been approved, this course. You take this course, and then you can get your carry permit. And New Jersey does not specify open or concealed. It's just a carry permit. But I know people that have taken an approved course, and by the time they finish the course and they applied for their carry, the state then says, "Oh no, that one's not acceptable anymore. It's this. Now you need this requirement, and you need to take this course or these approved courses when you've already done what they originally said you had to do." So it's still way unconstitutional. Any requirement to do anything to carry a firearm is unconstitutional.
Yep. The only place that I can see there being a law that would make sense would be, at a store or something, a private property where the owner can say, "No, we don't allow guns here."
That's private property. That's a whole other story. That's a whole nother story.
Right. Property taxes connected to the Fourth Amendment, primarily through constitutional protections against unreasonable searches and seizures of property by the government, especially in the context of property tax assessments, inspections, and foreclosures that can result from unpaid taxes. The Fourth Amendment ensures that people are secure in their persons, house, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures, making property central to its guarantees. This protection means that government officials, including tax assessors or inspectors, cannot freely enter or search private property without appropriate justification, typically a warrant supported by probable cause. Property tax systems often require assessments that may involve physical inspections of property. However, courts have ruled that requiring a homeowner to surrender privacy rights or lose the ability to appeal a tax assessment can violate the Fourth Amendment. In Wisconsin, for instance, a law was struck down because it conditioned a homeowner's right to challenge tax assessments on allowing tax appraisers unconsented access to the interior of their home, which the court found unconstitutional. Seems like grounds to be able to fight property taxes in general. What? How? Wait, you're not allowed to come in here and assess anything. It's unconstitutional. So prove that my property is worth that. Well, based on this, based on that. No, well, you haven't seen my property. How do you know what I've got and what I don't? What the interior of my house looks like? I might not have any walls for all you know. Tore them all down. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I never let them in. When they come do assessments, I never let them in. Ever. Never. Nope.
While tax collection is a recognized government power, the means of enforcing it, such as property inspections or seizures, must align with the Fourth Amendment. This ensures the property owners retain their rights against unreasonable intrusions. The issue is that the government can still come and take your property if you don't pay your property taxes.
Right.
Which I think
so in that case, the Fourth is out the window. The Fourth means nothing to your home then, because the government will take it if you don't pay the government to own it.
Right.
So you don't own it, then they'll just take it.
Now, to be fair, there is no federal property tax. There's only a state property tax, and a lot of those property taxes are local, but or they go to the local economy. But regardless, I think that they should be deemed unconstitutional. The idea being that you don't own that property that you built that house on. The people of the state own that property, and hence it can be taxed. I just don't. This is ridiculous. The idea that we even got this far. One of the greatest opportunities in this country was owning property, being a regular average person of being able to own property, not some serf, not some peasant. We can argue assessment if we deny access. Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Can't.
Oh, you can't.
We can't argue assessment if we deny access. But yeah, they'll up it to whatever if they're just going to assume.
Yeah.
That's why I let the outside of my house look like crap. Go ahead, walk around outside. Yeah, I look like white trash. Sure. My grass is long. I got weeds. My fence is falling down. Sure, go ahead and guess what the inside looks like. Bye-bye now.
I've never had anybody come by. That's what's messed up, is that none of us have. I know that my neighbor has numerous times fought the increase in taxes and won. It usually takes a long time to win it, but he always wins. But I've never had somebody come and assess my property in that way, not for the tax collectors.
I have. I've at least since I built the house 20-ish years ago.
Yeah.
I've denied access at least 4 times.
Damn. I've never had anybody show up, and I've owned the house for almost a decade. So that's interesting. No, I've never had that happen. Be interesting if they did. I also don't know anybody who's ever had a tax assessor show up.
Well, now you do.
Yes.
Multiple times.
Now I do. Yes. Yes.
Not by you though, maybe.
Not by me. For some reason, it is wild because it always goes up every year.
Here in the People's Republic of New Jersey,
the People's Republic, in the same way that China has a People's Republic. Same thing here with Illinois.
Right, exactly.
It's communism under the guise of the People's Republic. Hey, we can call it whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then what the other thing, and one of the things I think is a big violator here. All right, this one I've always thought was unreal. So let's see what we get out of this. Civil asset forfeiture is a legal procedure allowing law enforcement to seize property suspected of involvement in crime activity, often without charging the property owner with a crime. There's the rub, right? This practice is deeply intertwined with the Fourth Amendment, which is designed to protect individuals from unreasonable search and seizures by the government. Fourth Amendment requires law enforcement to obtain a warrant to search or seize property in most circumstances. However, the Supreme Court has ruled that civil asset forfeiture seizures can occur without a warrant as long as there is probable cause to believe the property is contraband or involved in illegal conduct. This means property can be taken without directly implicating the owner in criminal wrongdoing, leading to debates about the process's fairness and constitutionality. And there have been a number of Supreme Court cases: Calero Toledo versus Pearson Yacht Leasing Company, United States versus James Daniel Good Real Property. Supreme Court distinguished between the seizure of personal property, which can often occur before a hearing, and real property, which generally requires notice and a hearing. Court also affirmed that the Fourth Amendment alone does not provide all due process protections required when property is seized. The Fifth Amendment's due process clause is also critical, so that'll be next week. Critics argue that civil asset forfeiture can violate both the Fourth and Fifth. I argue that, as property owners may be presumed guilty and forced to prove their property's innocence. That's not the way we work here, do we?
It's just like the opposite of how we are supposed to work.
Yeah. And there have been very, very public cases where people have had their stuff just taken out of their car, and they never get it back. Their car itself, and never got it back.
Mm-hmm. I had two Bose seized from my house. Never got them back.
Wow.
Yeah, but my ex was one of her drunken stupors called the cops, and they came and again, I being an idiot and a law-abiding citizen, I answered their question. Do you have any weapons in the house? I'm like. And at that time, I did not. And I said, just my Bose. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're gonna have to take those. Why? Well, because of the threat of domestic violence, and we can't have weapons in the house. I'm like, and I did literally say to him, I said, "Are you gonna take all my kitchen knives too?"
Yeah.
like.
In England, they will.
Guys, are you going to take all my kitchen knives too? And they're like, no, but it's considered a firearm.
Where?
I never saw him again.
Of course.
Oh no, they are in our town. They are considered. You cannot legally discharge, fire, shoot a bow like in your backyard. You can't do it.
Okay, hold on. I better not say anything.
So yeah, I lost two bows.
Okay, so Illinois law permits the general use and possession of bows, including longbows, recurve bows, compound bows, and crossbows, primarily in the context of hunting, with specific requirements and restrictions applying to each type and their use in different contexts. But I don't. Crossbows are now legal. I don't. Discharging a bow or crossbow is prohibited along, upon, across, or from a public roadway, highway, or right of way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then. I plead the fifth. We'll get to that next week. Municipalities may have ordinances that prohibit it. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. It doesn't say that they're considered a firearm, but they do have these regulations.
Well, they are in the PRNJ. They are in the PRNJ.
Fucking bullshit.
Because it's been a while since I looked it up, but I think the definition of firearm, when they talk about firearms in the state, it's projectiles. It's if it expels a projectile, it's a firearm. That's why I'm not kidding. We need a firearms identification card to buy a BB gun in the state. You can't go to Walmart and buy a BB gun. You can't go. We have a Bass Pro in Jersey, and you can't buy a BB gun there. Without an FID. They have them, and air rifles and stuff. You can't buy them without an FID card. A BB gun, a Red Ryder, a one-pump action ping BB gun. You cannot buy it without an FID card. Right with it, so basically registering it with the state. The state knows you have a flippin' BB gun.
Yeah, so, see, that's not the way it is here. Not at all. And to be clear, Moonlight Rider, they don't really push those kinds of laws out here in the sticks. I mean, you're approved to just pull over to the side of the road and kill a damn coyote here. Where people kill squirrels like all the time around these parts, up in the trees and everything else, with pump action, BB guns, the whole nine. So I don't know. I guess it depends on your sheriff around these parts. But again, go vote. We elect our sheriffs. I don't know about you guys, so yeah, it's important to vote in local elections always. But that's bizarre that a BB gun is a firearm. Whatever.
But anyway, we've transcended back into the second, but
well, they're all tied together. It's private
but
property.
That was because they were seized from me and I never saw them again.
Yes, which is
and I inquired about getting them back. I inquired about getting them back multiple times. Never got an answer from anyone. And I'm sure the county sold them at auction somewhere, made a couple bucks off of them,
or some police officers made off with them. I mean, I know that stuff happens. I know that happens. I'm not going to tell you how. I know that they'll take off with other things that you supposedly got caught with. In my case, I did. Funny how it was no longer in evidence, but that was 25 years ago. We don't need to talk about that. But all that, it's funny how property will just suddenly disappear. From the lockup. Yeah. I'm dumb, but I ain't stupid. I know what happened to my property. It was consumed. Let's just put it that it was consumed. In Yankees' case, they very may well have gotten away with some nice bows and gone out and used them themselves to hunt. Funny how that works. There again, that goes to civil asset forfeiture. I can't stand it. So, not charged with a crime, but we're going to take these, just in case. Just in case. I don't see how that passes muster at all. With the Supreme Court, but it did. We just read about it. Such again, a lot of these damn laws are pretty on its face, like tells you exactly how it should be, and then legalese screws it all up.
Mm-hmm.
And the Supreme Court has not been true to their function, in my opinion. Second, first, fourth, we'll get into the fifth and beyond after.
No, they're way too partisan. which they never that was the actual anti-intent. It was not intended for them to be partisan at all. It was intended for them to just interpret the Constitution and uphold the Constitution. But now we have 4 conservatives and whatever. Like that should not even be a thing. That shouldn't even be a thing. You shouldn't know their political leanings or thinkings, just like the same thing I say about teachers in school. The student, should not know their political beliefs, just as our justices, you should not know their political beliefs.
Well, there are tools that are supposed to be used for political judges. One of them is impeachment. A total of 15 federal judges have been impeached in U.S. history, with 8 of them convicted and removed from office. The others were acquitted or resigned prior to a Senate conviction. The first federal judge to be impeached and convicted was John Pickering in 1804. The most recent was J. Thomas Porteous Jr. in 2010. 2010 was the last time that a federal judge was impeached and removed. And I would argue that since 2010, there have been some absolutely egregious politicization, however you say it. Weaponization, very well put, of the judicial system by political judges. Mm-hmm. And that directly affects all of our amendments, not the least of which the 4th, where you've seen many high-profile people have their houses raided in the middle of the evening or in the morning when CNN just happened to be parked outside. Just happened to be. And, they're supposed to be neutral. Supposed.
We shouldn't know. We shouldn't. If they are, whatever it is that however they vote in their personal life, it shouldn't matter in the job that they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it shouldn't. I think that's where you get into the legal jargon, is when it comes to a judge's interpretation of the law. Mm-hmm. For a lot of these amendments, I don't see much room for interpretation. It's basically written as should be, but it's just like what was it when Bill Clinton used that? It depends on what your definition of the word is. Remember that when he said that live on camera? Piece of garbage. That is what you get these lawyers doing, going before the courts and saying, yeah, but the definition of this word can be interpreted this many ways. And in the Webster Dictionary, it says this. And they go through and they find some obscure definition of the word that said, well, technically speaking. And that's where they tend to twist these laws.
And that's what I think. I mean, the second is abundantly clear. Shall not be infringed. End of story.
But, of course, well, like you were, I know where you're going there. It's the thing that always gets hung up. We talked about this already, is the malicious statement in the beginning. But where in the
right,
fourth?
But no, I'm saying that where in the 4th, there I don't think that there is anything black and white about the 4th. The probable cause. They can't. They shall not happen. They should afford them their against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. If it ended there, okay, that's cut and dry, clear. Or no warrant shall issue. But upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation. Yeah. Oh, well, right there, you muddied the shit out of it.
Yeah, that's because, oh, God. I mean, it just speaks right to people's ability to be deceitful. Deceitful people will find all kinds of probable cause.
Right.
Wherever they want.
Absolutely. And that's my point. That's why I think the fourth is incredibly muddied.
Yeah, because without a judge signing onto a warrant, right, and just using probable cause, that means that hearsay can be probable cause. And as I've said numerous times, if I want to do that, if I want to go with probable cause, oh my God, the hearsay I could use that. Hey, they're violating the law. Go over there and
red flag laws.
Yeah, total violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Completely violate, because what's their probable cause? Someone else said it.
Yep.
So someone's mad at you, a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend, an ex-girlfriend, an ex-wife, somebody you literally could be somebody you cut off on the road or thinks you cut them off, and they got your license plate and they found out who you were and your address. They could red flag you, and that's probable cause. They're coming in. They're coming in and they're taken.
In Florida, they have, I don't know if they still do, but I know they had when I was living there 15 years ago, whatever it was, when it's 20 years ago, a person, a family member or acquaintance, I think it might just, I can't remember the exact wording of the law. You could have somebody taken in and put into a mental ward for evaluation for 3 days by somebody saying that they're calling and saying, yep, this person's mental stability is a question, and they could put you into a mental ward for evaluation for 3 days. Mm-hmm. At that time, this person I know, I won't mention her name, had her kids taken from her, and she had she never got them back. Not speaking to the validity of her mental stability, all I'm saying is that that's pretty wild that you could do that. Now, I know that those laws are few and far between, but Florida used to have them. I don't know if they still have them or not. But that's akin to hearsay for probable cause to go into someone's house because you believe that they're committing a crime. How many times have cops broken into a house based on probable cause and killed people and animals and such, and there was never a problem?
Yeah, the swatting.
Yes. How is that not a violation of the Fourth Amendment? Because that is just hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, swatting, something that content creators have had to deal with for years now. I don't know. Maybe we should definitely get into that after the break, because that's a huge one, and that would tie into probably the Fourth and Fifth Amendment, and probably others too. The idea that this probable cause, the wording of probable cause is just too vague.
That's what I think. I absolutely believe that. Because it is interpreted too loosely. Probable cause. Probably. They probably have this, or they've probably done that, or they're probably a criminal.
Suspicious behavior.
I thought there was supposed to be facts. You have to prove that I'm guilty. You can't say you're probably guilty. No, you have to prove it before I'm guilty.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is that you're presumed innocent by our law, and probable cause gives judges that leeway to be able to. No, I'm not going to sign off on that warrant, but probable cause. It alleviates the judge from having to pay any kind of a penalty for these cops, and I'm sure that there's some sort of warrant that's issued. I don't know. I guess I have no idea in probable cause cases, but it alleviates any kind of reprimand for doing such awful things with like swatting has turned up. All right, top of the hour. You ready for a break?
Sure.
All right.
It's that time.
If you're new here, top of the hour, we like to take a 3 to 5 minute break. Go get yourself some refreshments, drain fluids, munchies, drinks, whatever it is. But don't go anywhere because we're coming back to talk more about the Fourth Amendment, and we'll get into this swatting stuff. And then we're going to talk to the chat about 30 minutes in. So don't go anywhere. We're going to hear from you guys. Yankee, what do you got?
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Appreciate you always, chat. You're always amazing. If you are here and you are liking what you're seeing and hearing, please go ahead and smash that thumbs up. Do us that favor if you would. A super duper thumbs up like on here on Rumble would be a reposting, gets more eyes on our channel, and we would appreciate that. Everyone else we are on Pilled X, Locals, Kick, and YouTube tonight. So press all the buttons, do all the free things on all of those platforms. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you and all the love and support.
Absolutely. We absolutely do. And we have a magnificent chat. All right. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes. Thank you for watching Beyond the Noise, a subsidiary of SOAR Network. We're live every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. To ensure you don't miss the show, make sure you follow the channel and share it with anyone you think might benefit from our work. You can find Yankee every Friday night on his Living Yankee Free channel for bourbon and beer for some irreverent fun with friends. Or drop by his music channel, Patriot Jams, for good tunes to get you through your day. Better yet, follow his main channel, Yankee Free, for all alerts for any of his content. You can follow RS on his main Rumble channel, Republic Sentinel, for alerts for all of his shows, and TRS News for an alternative take on the news. If you have specific questions for our guests or the hosts that you would like to be read on the show, you can drop a Rumble rant. You can support the channel by simply hitting the follow button. And if you feel so inclined, become a paid subscriber. Thank you for watching Beyond the Noise, a subsidiary of SOAR Network. We're live every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. To ensure you don't miss the show, make sure you follow the channel and share it with anyone you think might benefit from our work.
Hello, welcome back. This is next hour of Beyond the Noise is brought to you by Rumble Premium. 1 second. There we go. You've probably noticed Rumble is growing fast and it's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform, no pre-rolls, no interruptions, just these wonderful live ad reads. Just the content you came for. Plus, Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. Right now, Rumble is offering $10 off annual subscriptions. Just go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO at checkout. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and content you actually care about. That's the deal. And now, back to Beyond the Noise.
Always a pleasure. Yankee and I both love ad reads. We talk about it all the time. I hope you guys are good with it. We have such a blast with ad reads.
They're fun.
Well, and you can't. That was impeccable. Rumble should be asking you to be their spokesperson. I think it'd be cool.
little rocky start on that one. That one didn't start off so smooth, but I think I brought it back.
It ended up great. All right, so back to the Fourth Amendment. What we were going to talk about, pulled up a couple things here on swatting, which content creators have a lot of reason to be concerned about swatting. Now, in case you guys don't know what that is, I'm going to read you some definitions. We'll talk about how it's related to the Fourth Amendment, and then there's some prominent cases that we'll get into where things didn't end too well. Swatting. When someone makes a false emergency call to trigger a heavily armed police response to an suspecting target's address, directly intersects with the Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable searches and seizures. During a swatting incident, law enforcement typically enters a home without a standard warrant, relying on, quote, exigent circumstances, end quote. I didn't see that anywhere in the definition of the
that probably falls under probable cause. That's what I'm guessing. That muddy section, that muddy line of probable cause.
Well, okay, so exigent circumstances because they've received a report of imminent danger, such as a hostage situation or a violent crime in progress. Fourth Amendment basics in swatting. The Fourth Amendment guards against unreasonable searches and seizures, generally requiring a warrant and probable cause for police to enter and search a home. However, there are established exceptions to the warrant requirement, notably the exigent circumstances doctrine. Swatting incidences exploit this. Police can lawfully enter and sometimes search a home without a warrant if they genuinely, here's the thing, again, language, genuinely believe someone's life is in imminent danger as reported in the false emergency call.
Where's the proof? That's my big problem with all of this. You're going off of most of the time, anonymous report.
Yep. Oh, they're
most
almost
of these
exclusively anonymous, I think.
It's an anonymous report. I am sorry. I've had anonymous thing. I've had that weird person named Anonymous make false accusations against me. Mm-hmm. And my question is, how can you take an anonymous report and an anonymous call telling you something? How can you take that seriously if they're not certain enough to own making the call, making the report, or saying what they said? How can you believe it if they're not willing to put their effing name on it?
Well, and that's just it. That would be a great counter to this whole thing. You have to leave your name, and there has to be some sort of evidence that you're that person as well. You know, I mean, somebody could call as me and say that my neighbor is torturing his wife and yada, yada. You need to get in there. And there's no evidence that it was me, but they left my name. Do you know what I mean? So when it's a faceless phone call, you could use anybody's name. And that's what, man, I mean, don't get me wrong. In a case where some young girl or boy is being held hostage in someone's basement, of course I want those children to be rescued as immediate as possible. But the overwhelming majority of these cases don't involve anything like that. They usually end up from butthurt people who don't like your opinion. And we will get into many of these cases. There are some devastatingly tragic cases. But let's go a little bit further into the minutia, the legalese, the limits of protection.
RS and his fancy words
the
again.
Minutia.
His fancy words. Yes. Muffy.
Although the Fourth Amendment... Muffy.
Yes, Muffy.
No comment. Although the Fourth Amendment is designed to prevent government overreach, it does not fully shield you from police entry during swatting because the law allows warrantless action when others believe an emergency exists. So this is one of those amendments that probably has to be redone. The wording was just too loose. Maybe at the time it definitely wasn't as prominent to do something like this. I'm sure swatting wasn't a thing in 1778 or 1786, whenever it was that they wrote this. But that said, police actions during a swatting response must still be, quote, reasonable in scope. For example, searching only areas where a reported victim or weapon might be realistically be found and not conducting a general or prolonged search unrelated to the emergency. Like that's not where the problems usually begin. Legal recourse and liability. If law enforcement uses excessive force or exceeds reasonable scopes during a swatting raid, there can be Fourth Amendment violations. Victims may seek damages via civil rights lawsuits. The problem with that is that, okay, if they killed your dog, they killed your kid, they killed your wife, what's the... Raid
from Crazy Dude. Thank you, Crazy Dude. Appreciate you.
Thank you, KD. But the damage is done. There's no amount of money that they're ever going to pay you to bring back your dog or your kid or your wife or significant other, whatever.
Not necessarily in that order.
Yes. Yes. Right. So, let's see. Victims may seek damages. Section 1983 claims if police actions were unreasonable and not protected by qualified immunity. However, the person who made the false report rarely faces Fourth Amendment liability. The constitutional violation relates to state action by law enforcement, not private individuals. So that might even rid I know that there have been states in recent months, in the last couple of years, that have gone after individuals. And like I said, they found one guy from Germany that had, like, Tim Pool had been swatted like 8, 9, 10 times. And right there, live on camera, which is, to me, is bizarre. All they got to do is look at his show and see, yeah, he doesn't have a hostage crisis going on. But yeah, the guy that did that all those times, he was in Germany, and there's no recourse there. This is where I think something needs to be done. But we do have some prominent cases of swatting that proved to be false. Serial swatting and hoax threats. In one of the most recent and prolific cases, Alan Fillion, an 18-year-old from California, was convicted for making at least 375 hoax emergency calls between August 2022 and January 2024. His swatting sprees targeted schools. I was talking about it. It was the one with Tim Pool. And we'll see if we even get to it because there's a whole bunch of them listed here. But this is just the first one. Between August 2022 and January 2024, 375 hoax cases for this Alan Fillion. His swatting sprees targeted schools, places of worship, private homes, and government buildings, all of which were entirely fabricated emergencies meant to provoke massive police responses. These incidents proved to be hoaxes upon investigation, although they generated widespread fear and significant law enforcement mobilization. Fatal outcomes. The Andrew Finch case. Perhaps the most notorious single swatting event occurred in 2017 when Tyler Barris falsely reported a hostage situation at a home in Wichita, Kansas. The address provided belonged to Andrew Finch, who had no involvement in the dispute or prior knowledge of the incident. When police responded, Finch was shot and killed. The entire emergency proved to be fictitious. Following his arrest, Barris admitted responsibility for numerous other fake emergency calls, many uncovered to be groundless hoaxes after law enforcement arrived and found no threat. Celebrity swatting and hoaxes. Now, you're going to be surprised how many different people have been swatted. Ashton Kutcher, Tom Cruise, Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus, all have been victims of swatting hoaxes. In these cases, emergency services were falsely alerted to shootings, hostage situations, or other violent cries at the celebrities' homes, with responders discovering only after arrival that the incidences were hoaxes. The perpetrators behind these celebrity swatting cases were rarely apprehended, but the alerts were all confirmed to be false. Swatting in political and public contexts. High-profile figures such as federal judges and political officials have also been swatting targets, especially during heightened periods like election season. False alarms have included threat to the White House and other government buildings, where rapid law enforcement deployment was later found unnecessary after confirmation of no legitimate emergency. Now, let's do Tim Pool, the host of the Timcast IRL podcast, has been swatted multiple times during live broadcasts, with incidents escalating in frequency and severity since 2022. Swatting involves making false, we know that. Pool has publicly discussed these incidents as disruptive and dangerous. Tim Pool's studio and private residence has been swatted at least 15 times in a single year, according to his own public statements. The first major televised incident occurred in January 2022 when police, armed with a report of a shooting at his Maryland studio, entered the building during the show. Swatting targeting Pool intensified around the time controversial or high-profile guests, such as Marjorie Taylor Greene, appeared on a show starting as early as January 6th, 2022. Other high-profile YouTubers, including Jeremy the Quartering, he's up in Wisconsin here, were subjected to the simultaneous swatting attempts. And Nick Rekieta, I've seen a bunch of them. After the repeated incidents, local Maryland authorities and federal agencies, including bomb squads, have been involved in Poole's cases. However, Poole has noted that identifying and prosecuting swatters takes significant investigation. Some of the perpetrators on other swatting cases have faced multiple years in prison. And it doesn't mention the person. Yeah, there's no name given. There's no details about the swatter have been revealed. So there's no name of who did it, but there's been rumors of who did it. Tim talked about it. I've watched Tim actually talk about it. But no arrests have been made either. So when you're talking about swatting somebody.
So you were able to give one example of someone held responsible, and how many? Two people.
Yep.
Two people out of the how many cases we've talked about? Two people have been held responsible and made to face consequence.
Well, one of them was responsible for 375 different swats. And they finally caught him. And I have no idea how they caught him. But he did admit to it afterwards. And then the other one was Tyler Bliss and Barris in Kansas, where the person that he swatted got killed. And you know, the responsibility here, I noticed that one of the content creators that I follow, Nick Rekieta, who's had his issues, but he was swatted live on air numerous times. And the first time was uncomfortable, but after that, they were wise to it, and they'd just call him. And he was on air every single time. And they'd call him. He'd be right in the middle of the show. He'd answer because it was the police. And he'd go and meet them. And after a while, they would call him and he'd say, yeah, I'm live. You guys can just see it. And they would, and they wouldn't even bother him. But at first, even after the first initial kind of messed up one, they would just come in, chat with him. He would meet them on his front porch. So it wasn't like they come
and that is
down his door.
That is why I wish I could remember who it was. Someone that used to come around more often in our chat. Their daughter was a big streamer, and they gave us the recommended to us to go to our local authorities and just make them aware. Hey, just if you get any kind of crazy out there, anonymous reports that something nefarious is going on at my house, can you not come in guns blazing? Can you call me? Can you knock on my door and let's have a conversation and not meet me at the door, guns pointed at my head, or no laser dots on my chest when I open the door? Like, I am a content creator, and this is a thing, unfortunately, that is happening to a lot of content creators. And I do this. I am a content creator, so I just want to put it out there and let you know. And I have done that. I have done that with our local, and they were very receptive to it. And they're like, thank you for telling us. The officer, the detective, said to me, he goes, well, I can tell you this. I think you're the only content creator in town because you're the first person to ever mention this. I'm like, I don't know if I'm the only content creator in town, but I just wanted to make sure you knew that there was something on record, something on file that, hey, you know what? This is outlandish. This is crazy. This report is crazy, or this accusation is kind of out there.
Right.
Let's investigate first.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, I'll gladly meet you at the door. And where'd they say I've got them locked up at? Oh, here, come on down. I'll show you. I don't have a problem, because I know a bunch of my local law enforcement, so I don't have a problem with any of that. But the idea that I've got 2 dogs, I've got a son, I got a girlfriend living in the house with me. I don't need them coming to my door because somebody doesn't like my politics, beating down the door and possibly killing one of them or all of them for no reason, because someone dislikes my politics. And again, what are we talking about this for? Because of the Fourth Amendment, right? Unreasonable search and seizure. And leave it to the jagbags, the butthurt of this day and age, to do something as retarded as swatting somebody.
But again, I will take it back. I know I've repeated myself multiple times tonight, but I think the Fourth Amendment is too long.
I agree with you.
I think they said too many words. They said too many words and too many things that can gray it and not make it as effective. If they stopped after shall be protected.
Yeah. And then no further.
Period. That's it. No, you can't do this. You cannot unlawfully search and seize, or unreasonable search and seize, or what is, I don't have it up right now, but
yeah, I didn't have the exact wording up either.
The rights of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. Period. Should have stopped right there.
Right.
Because then they go into, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or, well, here's the thing, supported by oath or affirmation. Wouldn't that be putting a name to it?
Right. It would.
Wouldn't that be putting a name to it? So if you get an anonymous call, then you can't issue a warrant. You can't do a search and seizure on an anonymous tip.
Okay, so I asked, is a swatting incident preceded by a warrant? A swatting incident is not preceded by a warrant. Typically, swatting involves someone making a false emergency report to law enforcement, so there is no warrant issued here. It is a warrantless search based, I'm sure, solely on probable cause. But what you're talking about, where it says affirmation or oath or affirmation, where's the oath or affirmation? Are the cops the affirmation? Where's the affirmation that supports this probable cause?
Right. That's why I say it should have stopped after shall not be violated.
Agreed.
Period. End of amendment. That's it. You muddied the crap. The whole second half of that is gobbledygook. It just makes it mean nothing.
Right. It sounds like a bunch of lawyers sat around and said, yeah, but we should include this because this could do this and this could happen to this. It sounded like a whole bunch of people sat around verbal masturbation and came up with that. Because everything prior to it makes sense.
Yeah, I love the first half of the fourth. The second half is garbage.
Yeah.
It literally, the second half literally nullifies the first half as far as I'm concerned.
The idea that something like swatting could even occur is just, oh God, it's so disgusting. I'm looking at my ceiling. No, I'm actually looking at my monitor up here. I have all of the amendment shit and all the different tabs I have open up here. You guys are on screen here. Well, actually, the chat is over here. So if you see me looking over this way, I'm looking at my live chat on this monitor. So trying to break things up. And I can't look and see Yankee and then also pull up something and read it and also be able to look at him or look at the camera.
Why do you want to look at me?
Because you're my partner.
You don't need to look at me.
You're my partner in crime.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I want to see your facial expression when I read some shit, right? Yes, it is time for chat,
right.
Is it not? Justin Henry. Neuro. What's up, Neuro? What are your opinions on the Fourth Amendment, Neuro? Cass ass, what's up? Because swatting has been a huge issue. There's no justice for ones it has happened to. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody in our audience that considers doing something like this, especially, listen, Yankee and I are political people. It's the way we are. We are married to our Constitution, and we try to talk about it quite a bit. There's a lot of people who get butthurt by opinions. The idea that somebody would go so far as to swat you because they don't like your opinion, go fuck yourself. I think those people should end up in prison for a very, very, very long time. Then you would discourage anyone from doing anything like that.
Right.
Someone call? Yes, it was me, Neuro. Neuro, hey, pick up the phone, Neuro. I'm calling. I want to know what your opinions on the Fourth Amendment are. What's the definition of swatting? We kind of went over this, but I will go back.
That might have been pre-raid before Mr. Henry was here.
Yes, okay. Swatting, when someone makes a false emergency call to trigger a heavily armed police response to an unsuspecting target's address. And it directly intersects with the Fourth Amendment. And there have been many incidences, many, just uncountable numbers of incidences where swatting has occurred. It's disgusting. Oh, it sucks big time for content creators, big time for anybody, but content creators in particular. It's when your mom uses her tail to swat flies off her ass. Damn, lover. Right to it. How you doing, lover? What's up?
Oh, freaking lover.
Hey, Mr. Three-Letter Agency. Yeah, Greg, I'm talking to you. What are your opinions on the Fourth? I think the government violates it all the time. Exactly.
Yep.
We both talked about that. Probably one of the more muddy amendments out there. We're getting to the 5th next week. The 8th will be interesting. Get a warrant or fuck off. That a man speaking to my heart.
No, but Neuro, that's the thing. I don't know how much you were here because I know you're all over the place, sir.
Yes,
but that's what we were saying. The whole getting the warrant part. The second, for me, my sole opinion, not speaking for RS or anyone else, but the second part of the Fourth nullifies the first part. They should have stopped halfway through and put a period instead of a comma. Because it and then not done the rest of it, because there shouldn't be a warrant. There should be nothing. No, it should just not be infringed. You can't do it. You cannot without hard proof. Like we know this is happening. We've done the investigative work. We can prove without a doubt that person is guilty of this crime. So we shall go in and apprehend them.
Yankee is speaking for me, by the way. And again, in this country, we pride ourselves on innocent until proven guilty. So Yeah, touch my bows, my swords. That warrant should be very difficult. I agree with Yankee 100%. Get rid of the whole second part of it. It's just a woman is screaming, help, help, so you have to go in. Yeah, well, I don't know. That one's a tough one, right? If you hear distress, that's a little different than somebody calling up and saying, hey, they have their wife and kids locked up in the basement. They're going to torture them or kill them, which is what a lot of these have been. Hell, they've gone after churches with this stuff.
What's up, Hamburglar? Good to see you.
Greg, I still have not seen a response from you, sir. We would love you to.
Greg is so pleading the fifth on this one.
Yeah, the CIA doesn't really care about the Fourth Amendment, does it, Greg? I love it. Hey, you know what? We've talked about this before. Handling a bow, in my humble opinion, there's skill. There's a lot of skill involved. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of practice. So mad props to people who can actually really use a bow to effect. All I know, you don't shoot a dry bow ever.
Dry fire. Yeah, you don't want to ever dry fire. Justin's making fun of me.
Oh. Okay.
Because that is actually one of my most successful shorts on YouTube is me dry firing my bow on camera. Yeah.
What is dry firing again?
When you forget to knock an arrow and there's no arrow in it. Yes, your bow literally explodes.
Oh, wow. Ooh, yeah, let's see if we can get to 20 likes. Thanks, KD. No, nobody thought you were making fun of him, Justin Henry.
No, because I know you've commented on that video before. I'm pretty sure you commented on that YouTube video of mine before. That's what I figured you were talking about.
No bueno.
No, it's no bueno. It's no very bueno. No bueno. Scare the absolute bejesus out of you is what it will do.
Oh, I'll bet. Well,
I did it once. I did it once and one time only, and that will definitely never happen again.
Well, like I said, that could be expensive considering the bow.
It can be expensive and it can be painful because your bow literally blows apart.
The exclusionary rule, fruit of the poison tree. These are important to keep police and prosecutors in check. Problem is the courts have butchered our rights. Well, what is fruit of the poisonous tree is where its politics are involved, right? Political leanings one way or the other. Am I right when I say that? Fruit of the poisonous tree. Let me, I'll look that up. Fruit of the poisonous tree is a legal doctrine that holds the evidence obtained directly or indirectly from an illegal or unconstitutional act, such as an unlawful search or seizure, is inadmissible in court. Okay, so it's not political. If the original source of the evidence, the tree, is tainted by illegality, then any evidence... Okay, so how does that factor in, Neuro, to asset forfeiture? How many people have never had charges pressed against them, but they've had their shit seized as potential evidence of a crime and they never got their stuff back? There's plenty of evidence of that happening, and it just flies.
Or in my case, seized by potential, possibly, maybe they're being used for something nefarious. They weren't.
And still never got it back.
And never got it back.
No legal... proceedings. This is ridiculous. asset forfeitures. Absolutely, Neuro. I agree with that. If there's no charges being pressed, go fuck yourself. And there better be a warrant, and then there better be some sort of proof of guilt. Boating accidents, Greg. Love them. Yuck, a trigger. Talking about a crossbow. Everything I've read, we've talked about crossbows right here. I'm not a fan.
No, Justin, not at all.
If you wanna shoot if you want to shoot an arrow, learn how to use a bow. In my humble opinion, learn this skill. Frick, almost an art.
It is. I think it is.
It sounds like it. I mean, I've knocked back a handful of arrows myself, and I've found it incredibly difficult to be accurate. I'm more accurate with an axe and a knife, with both of which I've competed throwing. I can't accurately fire a bow to save my life. You know, yeah, no, no, I think the French were wiped out when they had crossbows and the English had longbows. Broadheads aren't cheap. Throwing stars. I don't know what you're talking about. What are throwing stars, Justin Henry? What's a throwing star? I'll bet you love nunchucks as well, don't you, Justin?
Nunchucks and samurai swords with or not samurai swords. The skinny ones. What the frick are they called?
Yeah, we've got one here. I thought that was a samurai sword.
Katana.
Yeah, katana. There you go. Yeah,
Katana
the very
blade.
skinny ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yep. The one we've got here is so dull you couldn't cut bread with it. But it's, it looks great. It looks beautiful. Oh, dude. You know something? Dude, fighting back in the day, holy shit. You want to talk about having balls, dude. Getting hit with a mace, a broadsword, an axe. Oh, that armor's going to do you a whole ton of good when an axe cuts through your arm. We should never have to prove innocence in this country. Exactly. But you see, that's how things have been twisted especially in the last century, but probably even further back. That it's you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. Where the real weight of the law is you are innocent. They are required to prove that you are guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know, Justin. Where there's it's not considered for something like that. It's purdy.
It's decoration.
Yeah.
It's for the aesthetics.
Well, right, Neuro, but and unfortunately, civil asset forfeiture has there's been numerous huge cases of this, and if I'm not mistaken, the Supreme Court, have they ruled on this? Let's see here. Work for me comment. The U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly examined civil asset forfeiture, shaping how states and the federal government may seize property linked to suspected criminal activity. Most recently in Cully versus Marshall, 2024, the court held that when the government seizes personal property such as a car or cash under civil forfeiture laws, it must provide the owner with a, quote, timely, end quote, hearing to contest the seizure, but it does not require a separate preliminary hearing merely to establish probable cause before holding the main forfeiture hearing. And there's been numerous rulings, 1993, 96, 96, 98, 2019, 2024. The Supreme Court's recent guidance, especially in Cully versus Marshall, sets the legal floor for due process. While property owners must be granted a hearing to challenge the seizure, states are not constitutionally required to provide an immediate preliminary hearing upon seizure. Instead, the full hearing must take place without undue delay under a flexible timeliness standard akin to the speedy trial right. Civil court has not ended civil asset forfeiture, but it has placed some constitutional limits. I think that there shouldn't be any civil asset forfeiture, period. You must be, to me, it must be a crime that's being charged against you. Then, of course, you get arrested and they go and take things, but it should be completely and fully documented. And if you get proved to be not guilty, all those things should be returned. A dust collector. Oh, yeah. I'm here. I work in a sand mine. We have dust collectors to collect. Never mind. I'm not going. What are we talking about? Okay,
no, you're
the
pretty
sword.
katana.
Yeah,
you're pretty
the sword.
katana.
Yep. Yeah, Neuro, it's disgusting. I agree, Yankee. The courts have dropped the ball. It doesn't change the fact that they are wrong. They are wrong. Inheritance tax is a chewy. That shouldn't be a thing either. How on God's green earth? Listen, I think that, what is that? The taxes that you pay on large chunks of money, what do they call that?
Theft.
Well, it is theft, but I can't remember what the actual, capital gains tax. So, RS, what does Chaotic say about your katana? It's her katana, not mine. She likes it. My son likes it. I think it's purty. It's, like I said, it's so dull you could not cut bread with it. You swing that at somebody, you might break an arm or something, but you ain't slicing anybody up with it. It's just rounded. Yes, you can sharpen it, but again, it's for purties. It's not for anything else. We have firearms in this house. We don't need swords. Capital gains, yeah, it's a mind fuck. Absolutely it is. Right, how capitalist, right? I know, I can't wait till we get into some of this taxation. We start getting up into, the federal income tax and all that stuff. Boy, oh boy, is that going to be fun. I mean, this is an interesting one as a content creator as it is, just like the first was. But, oh, hell, the fifth is going to be fun, too. The Eighth Amendment. Oh, and then the senators, too. That one's going to fucking piss me off as well. We have a justice that doesn't know what a woman is. That is correct. Ketanji Brown, whatever her name is. And we
Jumanji Jackson.
Yes, Jumanji. I love that. And we trust them to be the ultimate authority. The founding fathers would be ashamed of us. They are already numerous times over ashamed of us. The suspension of habeas corpus being one of the major ones. That, what? At least 2 presidents have suspended habeas corpus, right? I know that Lincoln did.
$32 beautiful Patriots in the Rumbles. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate the time that you guys spend with us 3 nights a week. It's so very appreciated. We love it.
2 presidents, Abraham Lincoln and George W. Bush. And this is where you can arrest somebody without probable cause. This is where you can arrest people. It's without a trial. Lincoln suspended the writ during the Civil War, particularly in Maryland and elsewhere in response to rebellion and threats to national security. That included arresting journalists because supposedly they were giving up, I don't know, in the paper, troop alignments and shit like this. George W. Bush controversially restricted habeas rights for detainees at Guantanamo Bay during the War on Terror. Though these actions were ultimately challenged and partially overturned in the courts. But I think that's the Eighth Amendment. Oh, well, it's straight up in Article 1, Section 9, Clause 2 of the U.S. Constitution. 5th, 4th, 14th. Yeah, the 8th is the excessive bail, fines, as well as cruel and unusual punishment. But yeah, these will all be very, very fun amendments to get into. We're getting towards the end.
I'm looking.
That's why I kind of brought it up. Our intrepid producer / co-host is seeking a raid target for the evening. But until then, while he's doing that, I just wanted to bring your attention to the fact that we both have our own individual channels. Yankee Free, just go to Yankee Free. That's all you need to do. And I believe all of the links are in the description of the channel anyway. But he does bourbon and beer on Friday nights. And there you go. In the live chat, there is Yankee Free. And he likes to do, it's like a hangout kind of going out drinking without going out drinking. You stay at home drinking with a bunch of people and having a good time. And it's safer. And it's a lot more fun because we have a lot of really cool people in the chat. Also, shooting the shit and some drive home streams. Just go over, follow his channel. Make sure you hit the notifications. You'll know when he's going live. Myself, I've been playing Ark Raiders recently. I didn't stream this weekend. Had a lot going on, but that I may live stream tomorrow night before work. We will see. But also we'll do music streams and news streams on my channel from time to time as well. So please follow our individual channels. Give us your support and hit the notifications. For our schedule, Discord, Rumblebot just threw up our Discord. Make sure you're over there. You'll see updated schedules because both Yankee and I, our work situation can tend to bite into our schedule. So, yes, we are not professional streamers. We are amateur. And we
amateur. You see what your big fancy orange words again.
Amateur.
Yes.
We sometimes we got.
Why do they all have their jaws wired shut? I don't know.
Their jaws jut out way. What's it there? I can't remember. There was something about that jaw that juts out way too far. There's some kind of a genetic thing. But yeah. So there could be fluxes here and there. Sometimes we'll try and pick up an extra stream here and there to make up for it. You just never know.
Right. So get on the Discord, get into the schedule room, and click on our Google Calendar. You can see it all right there.
That's right. And a lot of the people that you see in the live chat are sometimes in that Discord, so you could talk with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we are set and ready.
All right. So with that said, you've heard the whole spiel about our own particular channels. We tend to stream Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday night. Saturday nights sometimes can be longer streams because we're both kind of freed up and have a little bit more fun there. Wednesday night's all about you. So make sure you stop back by. If you're not following, follow the channel. And we talk to you guys. We bring some things to talk about, some videos or whatever, some provocative things to stir up the chat. But otherwise, it's all about you guys. And other than that, Yankee, where are we going? What are we doing?
Well, y'all, we are rating out. We're going to rate out to two different places because I'm not sure when either of them are ending. I think both of them, shortly. I'm not sure. Well, one of them I think is shortly. We're going to raid Big Red One Guy over on Rumble.
Ooh.
And we are going to raid Handy News on Pilled.
Nice. Both awesome creators.
When you get over there, whether it be Pilled, and it's Handy News, make sure you red pill him and repill him. And over here on Rumble, make sure if you're not following, well, also on Pilled, if you're not following Handy, follow him. And on Rumble, if you're not following Big Red One Guy, make sure you do hit that follow. Give him the thumbs up, the repost, the comments, all the free things we ask you guys to do for us. Please do for them as well. We wouldn't raid you somewhere to somebody that we don't like. Absolutely. I try and do my research, and if it's someone new, someone that I think will be a good fit with our community, but usually we're rating out to friends of the channel, so please show them all the love that you show us, and thank you again for being here with us.
Absolutely. Until Wednesday night, ladies and gentlemen, we're gone. See you then. Peace.
Night all.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Noise, a subsidiary of SOAR Network. We're live every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. To ensure you don't miss the show, make sure you follow the channel and share it with anyone you think might benefit from our work. You can find Yankee every Friday night on his Living Yankee Free channel for bourbon and beer for some irreverent fun with friends. Or drop by his music channel, Patriot Jams, for good tunes to get you through your day. Better yet, follow his main channel, Yankee Free, for all alerts for any of his content. You can follow RS on his main Rumble channel, Republic Sentinel, for alerts for all of his shows, and TRS News for an alternative take on the news. If you have specific questions for our guests or the hosts that you would like to be read on the show, you can drop a Rumble rant. You can support the channel by simply hitting the follow button, and if you feel so inclined, become a paid subscriber.